Thou shalt never overcook a steak. Such be the statement for today. My name is Matt from House of BBQ Experts, and today we're teaching you how to cook the best steak ever. Boy, oh boy, do I love a steak. Not gonna lie, I probably eat way too much red meat, but I'm completely fine with that. Steak is one of the delight that this world brings to me. I hope it's the same for you. So today I'm going to teach you the very simple steps, but key elements that will take you to the best steak ever. So today I'm cooking off with the rib steak, one of the favorite cuts that I cherish. Obviously, all of the techniques and steps that I will teach you today can be applied to whatever cut of preference you choose. There are 3 steps to cooking a steak. So you're gonna have your prep, your cook, and the rest, period. So step by step, let's go through the details. So prepping a steak, one of the first things you should do, and I'll be honest, I'm sure you don't do it often enough at least, you should always pat dry your steak. So you want to remove all of the excess moisture on your steak before applying your rub. Why is that? Because we want to create a rub paste with the rub, and we want that paste to be composed of specifically the juice that's inside of your meat. So we do not want to use the moisture that comes once you unseal it from your package. The second step to your prep is going to be the rubbing section. So today I'm working off House of BBQ Experts Steakinator, which is one of my go-to rub whenever I'm cooking beef. It has a very salt and peppery profile, so we're talking about deluxe salt and pepper, some aromas that are really designed to boost up the natural flavor of your beef and not overshadow it too much. One of the things you should do is coat one side once it's pat dry. Give it some time to really stick together, so you really want the salt in the rub to really develop a paste on your cut of meat before you flip it. So usually, like I said, it takes about 5 minutes. Flip it over, repeat, let it sit for a while. Usually, obviously, I hope you know this by now, but you want to bring your cut to room temperature by itself. Do not stress it into heat. There's 2 philosophies to using a rub. You can either rub 2 minutes prior to cooking it or at least 45 minutes before cooking it. Everything in between is going to be considered like a chemical cooking period, so you want to try to avoid that. My take on it is usually I am going to let it rest for the whole process on a counter, so I'm looking at 45 minutes at least to an hour long before I actually throw it, which takes us to the second step, the actual cooking technique. So right now what I'm doing is I'm searing the meat with the lid open to give it as much air as I can. So despite what you've heard, searing a steak doesn't lock in all of the juices. What it does, it's gonna really build up the browning process. So you're searing for texture and flavor, not so much moisture. So usually we're gonna leave it at about 90 seconds. Just wanna cook it as hot as you can. Just crank it up to get as much output as you can. Right now, as I'm pulling, I can feel, oh, see, it's starting to give away. So if your steak is too hard to pull, then your sear is not complete. So what I've done is I've seared my steak directly over the fire, so as a direct heat source. So what I've done over that part is I've built up my crust. So like I said, you want to sear for texture and flavor. So it took about 90 seconds to build up a crust mark on it. It's simply for aesthetic. Flipped it over, did about 90 seconds another time, and I finished up my cook as the indirect zone. So what I want to do with that is I want to build for crust and texture on one end and then warm it up to 125, 135, depending if you like it rare or medium. I leave it to you to choose that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to build it up to about 128, knowing that it's going to ramp up to about 130, 132, depending on the rest time, and that would be ready to eat afterwards. So right now we have 2 beautiful ribeye steak. As you can see, they're real glossy. You can see the spinalis right here melting. That is the money muscle. So that is probably one of the best bites you can get out of a steak. So now I am cutting off the bone out of it, just so isolating the spinalis, the eye, and then the bone. There's always someone who's gonna be raising hand to get that part. I'm usually that person as well. So a really flavorful piece to bite on. as you can see, nice and pink in the middle still, so very juicy, very flavorful, super tender, straight cut in it, just like butter. That will be it, simple as that. You want to move it up to at least 120. Past that, it's really up to you. I know that for my preference, I'm gonna remove it at about 125, 128, give or take, because I know that once I let it rest, it will build up to about 130, and then I'm gonna slice it. The rest time is super important. You gotta give it time to really relax. So when you're cooking meat, what's happening is the muscle is contracting, moving all of the moisture right in the middle of your cut. As it's resting, the muscle really smooths out, and then the moisture and the juices are thrown back evenly within the cut. So when you're gonna cut it, it's not gonna pool your cutting board, as we say. It's really gonna lock in as much juices in the cut as possible. So I hope that from now on, you will no longer overcook your steak. I hope this was helpful. Make sure to subscribe to our Facebook and Instagram page. If you have any question, as always, you reach out, we answer, and until then, enjoy your steak.